What's up, y'all? We are live. We're kind of testing out this format to see what works for the podcast. We had had a lot of different difficult technical difficulties getting this thing up and running. So we had a whole episode planned out, but we're just going to condense the nonsense and plan on the next episode. We're going to have all of our ducks in a row for the next time we do it live. We just wanted to see if this format works, to be honest with you.
Right.
So it's Brian.
Coach Mo.
And if you can't tell because you just saw my hand go over here, I'm sitting like in a different location. Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So on today's episode, we're just testing out what the live stream format looks like. Playing around with different looks, playing around with different cameras, this, that, and the third. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the intro and we'll jump into our topics, talking about what we're going to talk about on when we do this live stream for real. So the idea of this live stream was we wanted to do a format where we could answer questions, talk about things that we got going on with CMA. But what we really don't want to do is make this just another advertisement for CMA. We need the podcast to show what we know and what we're seeing and share our knowledge about the local basketball scene in the Omaha metro area. And so originally the entire concept of this live stream was going to be what to do when you don't make the team.
Yep.
And so that's what we're going to talk about when we actually roll out our real live stream on this.
Right.
Because there's a number of things that you need to do when you don't make the team. And the reality is, and Coach Mo can kind of give you all a couple minutes on the real of making a varsity basketball team or even making a freshman basketball team. Maybe Coach Mo, tell them about the numbers game that they're up against.
Well, you're looking at now, it's always kind of been this way where they want to see a lot of the kids at summer workouts and fall, spring workouts, and then it's fall, then other workouts, then your tryouts in November. I mean, everybody has to do tryouts at a certain day, at a certain time. There's tryouts, but what I've known as working in the high school, I've known as this working, just working with kids is they're looking at you now. And then we'll talk a little bit further, but the truth is not everybody will make the team. And you can be the tallest, fastest, most skilled kid in 8th grade in March, and all that can go away. You start working, and all of a sudden, the kids that work hard catch you now in June and July. And they keep working, and they've really caught you during November, and now they're taking the best 12 kids. And when there's 75 kids that showed up to the tryout, so now you're on the outside looking in, and so we'll start touching a little bit on that because that's a real thing. If you stop working, that doesn't mean everybody else stops.
Well, and then it kind of flows into our next topic, which is, and I'm adjusting the camera because again, this is the test. Flows into our next topic, which is locally, and I don't know if this applies nationally, but I can speak to what happens on the local scene. There's a bill of goods being sold to kids and parents regarding being on the right team or the right feeder program that's connected with this school or that school. And I think a lot of times parents buy into this idea that I could almost, and it's not to disparage anybody, but it's almost, this is like extra credit. These are bonus points for me to make this roster. And I'm here to tell y'all, unfortunately, that ain't how it works. You being on X feeder team or Y feeder team, when they're doing trials for high school, they might be like, okay, I know this kid. I know this kid. I've coached him before, but Mr. 6'9" 9th grader who can handle the ball comes in. All that stuff goes out the window.
Well, I mean, and that's facts. I mean, you can see that even with recruiting. With recruiting here, I mean, you got kids that are phenomenal players, and if they're under a certain height, even with recruiting, they are probably last year recruited under talent, but they do look at height does that. Like you said, it could be a 6'9" kid that has any ounce of talent that comes in, and it doesn't really matter, what you did, and it's a lie by some of the coaches. They say it doesn't matter. It does. And look, your eyes get big when you see a kid walk in the door that's that big, and you're like, I can turn them to the next whatever. So you're actually right. And so you're thinking about, I'm getting this 12-man roster. Well, this 6-9 kids gonna be on my 12-man roster. Well, I was on my feeder team, and so so was other 75 kids.
Right.
We only keep 12.
And if you were the dominant kid in that program, your window shrinks.
Right.
And if you were the 6th man on a dominant team,
right,
your window shrinks. And so I think what we're saying is those teams don't guarantee anything for players, but a lot of times the coaches that are running those programs, they will tell a parent, well, this is a great way for your kid to be seen by X, Y, and Z. And a lot of times these coaches just want a kid that's going to allow them to win a game or win more games. And it's not really, they're not necessarily connected or don't really even have any stake in what this kid does after it. They're just looking what this kid can do for them in the moment. And we have one kid that I'm specifically thinking of. She's a great shooter. She's a really good shooter. She's a gifted shooter. But because of what the coach sees her position as, her body, and her size and everything, even though she's fleet-footed, shoot anywhere on the court, they decided that she's going to be playing the 4 or 5,
right?
And that's not really where she's going to thrive at. And this coach, I'm just going to say it, this coach doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Everything's a fit, and if that program needed that 5 or 4, that's who you are right now,
right?
And so you got to decide as a parent, decide as a player, like, does this program or coach fit what I'm trying to do? And you guys have a choice. I mean, I don't understand why parents don't understand you have a choice and a kid has a choice. Talk to your kid. If they go to school and they say they're making me a 5 and they don't want to be the 5, tell you it's a 5, talk. And it may not work. It's okay. I think there's a balance you get. So you get the old school cats that's always like, man, you just work through it, you grind, man, you wake up and grind, you work through it. If you work real hard, they're gonna find you and spot you are. And that's great, but it's hard to tell a junior in high school that. It's hard to tell a senior in high school that, because this is it. This is their time. And now they've had you stuck as a 5 and you're not getting recruited because you're 5'6".
So it like as you guys can see, it dovetails into a longer conversation that we're gonna have. The reality is we're trying to position you to be the absolute best player that you can be, the most skilled player that you can be, so that when you walk into these places and you're up against these odds with these kids that they're absolutely in love with, your kid's gonna be in a position, and our goal is your kid's in a position where they can't ignore the skills. And they're like, okay, we need to give this kid a chance because they're skilled here, here, and here, and nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is going getting the rebounds. Nobody else is playing defense like they do. We can put them out on the perimeter and they can guard all 5 positions. Like you get where I'm going with, like they can guard all 5 positions. We can do all kinds of other stuff.
You have to play defense,
right?
And we preach all the time. You have to hustle. You have to play defense. You got to do the other little things. Dude, there's guys that can go to a men's league right now and give you 50 points, but they'll stand there and walk back on defense, and the other team beats you by 20.
Right.
So he got 50, but they won 70-50, right? Like, too. And you have to do that. And we talk about that. The coaches real coaches really want to see that. They want to see that kid is like, if I need you tonight to go get 20, I'm gonna get 20. But tonight, I got you. I gotta have you covering the best player. You might not get 20, but I need you to get 10 stops. Right. And stops, they gotta be steals, they gotta be blocks. You're stopping that kid from scoring 10 times. You gotta be able to adjust, and be able to adjust.
So that's what the live stream is going to be about. We're going to be taking your questions as parents about development, and maybe as players about what you need to do to develop, but also having that conversation about what to do when you don't make the team, and the bill of goods that these programs are selling you. And so that's what we have. And so this was a good test. I'm going to go on the back end now and figure out what went catastrophically wrong so that I can spend an hour trying to set up everything. And then what day were you thinking? What day were you thinking?
We hit that Friday.
We're going to give another shot on Friday. So, and hopefully we can get the Facebook live stream up too. so we can have that running concurrently. So
Right.
that's what we have. Appreciate y'all's time. Again, we'll check you out on Friday. Thanks for tuning in to the test.
Yep. Peace.